Invisible Friend, a ghost story for Halloween. I knew a lovely couple. They had a daughter called Emma, and Emma had a so-called invisible or imaginary friend. Emma would sit on the floor playing with her toys, talking to Sam. Her parents didn't take any notice really. It wasn't uncommon for children to have an invisible or imaginary friend. They didn't worry about it at all. They thought that Emma would grow out of it, but by her 10th birthday she was still chatting to Sam. They'd pass her bedroom door and they'd hear her talking to Sam, discussing various things about school. Jack, her dad, was concerned. I remember him saying to me that perhaps she needed to see a psychologist or speak to someone professional about this, because at 10 years old surely she should have grown out of this by now. Kathy, Emma's mother, wasn't bothered at all. No, it's quite normal, was her reaction. She'll grow out of it. Once she gets into her teens, she'll forget about Sam and all that nonsense. As Kathy pointed out on many occasions, it wasn't affecting Emma in any way. It wasn't detrimental. She was happy. She was healthy. No problems, nothing wrong with her at all. When Emma finally hit her teens, on her 13th birthday, Sam came to her party. She was chatting to Sam quite openly in front of her parents and her friends. Now her friends were frowning at each other and whispering behind Emma's back. Jack overheard one or two whispered comments from Emma's friends. "Is she mad? I think she's crazy. She's mental. There's something wrong with that girl." Kathy overheard this as well, and that's when she started to become a little bit worried about the girl. She chatted to Jack about it. "What shall we do? Should we take her to see a psychologist or a psychiatrist? Perhaps you're right, Jack. There's something wrong with her." Jack and I were very good friends. We'd worked together in the past. That's how we'd met. And I was often round their house for drinks or a barbecue. We'd have a pleasant evening. And Emma always seemed perfectly normal to me, although on the odd occasion I did overhear her talking to this imaginary chap, Sam. Over the next 2 or 3 years, things progressed. Emma lost her friends. They were worried about her. They thought she was weird, and they kept their distance. Now, Jack and Kathy obviously noticed this. They realised what was going on. They tried to talk to Emma. "You've got to stop this," they said. "You've lost your friends. You sit at home alone. You don't go out anymore with them on a Saturday downtown. You just sit here on your own." But Emma insisted, no, it's fine. Sam is always chatting to me. Just because you can't see him doesn't mean to say he's not real. And these arguments started. Not heated arguments, perhaps that's the wrong word, arguments. Discussions that were possibly a little bit heated. Emma wasn't particularly academic, but her parents weren't worried about that. If she didn't do well at school, didn't matter. It wasn't a problem, although she did want to become a nurse. Now, to become a nurse, you had to do fairly well at school. You had to have certain exams. When the mock exams came along, Emma did extremely well. Jack and Kathy went to an open evening at the school, chatted to the teachers, and they couldn't believe how well Emma had done. If she carried on like this at school, her ambition to become a nurse would be within reach. But things at home were becoming strained. Emma would lock herself in her room during the evenings, and on many occasions she could be heard arguing with Sam. Kathy and Jack would sit downstairs in the lounge watching television, and they could hear Emma, raised voice, not exactly shouting, but raised voice, having a go at Sam. She was becoming irritable. She was always angry. Jack suggested hormones. At her age, he said hormones flying all over the place. But no, there was more to it than that. It wasn't just hormones. One night, Kathy was woken by movement downstairs. Someone was banging around downstairs. She woke Jack. He said it's probably Emma just getting a drink. Then there was another loud bang. Jack got out of bed, and as he crossed the landing, he looked into Emma's room. She was asleep. There was definitely someone moving around in the lounge. He crept down the stairs, crossed the hall, and peered into the lounge. It was dark. He couldn't see anything. Switching the light on, he dashed into the room, expecting to find an intruder. But there was no one there. He checked the front door, the back door, the windows. Everything was secure. But both he and Kathy had definitely heard noises downstairs. A couple of nights later, there were more noises downstairs, and Jack went to investigate again. Nothing. Everything was secure. There was no one there. But, he noticed, a chair had been moved. It was a small wooden chair they kept by the fireplace, and it was now the other side of the room. He checked with Kathy. No, she hadn't moved it. Emma wouldn't have moved it. As he put it back in its place, he heard something in the kitchen. Someone was shuffling around in the kitchen. He peered round the door and put the light on. There was no one there, but various things had been moved. The bread bin was in the wrong place. The tea and coffee tins had been moved onto the top of the cooker. There was no sign of a break-in anywhere. The house was secure. So what was going on? As the days passed, there were further disturbances at night. Emma slept through them all, but Jack and Kathy were becoming increasingly worried. They thought it best not to tell Emma, especially as she was heading towards her exams. Not the mock exams, but the real thing. But the noises at night were becoming worse. And one evening, Jack decided to stay downstairs and keep an eye on things. He'd been sitting in his armchair reading a book for about an hour when a noise emanated from the kitchen. Someone, or something, was moving things around. He left his armchair and made his way quietly across the room and peered round the kitchen door. Switching the light on, he shook his head in disbelief. There was no one there. The room was empty, but various items had been moved around. Kathy slipped downstairs, crossed the lounge and joined him by the kitchen door. She was the first one to use the word ghost. "It must be a ghost," she said. "There's no one here. I could hear noises from upstairs. There's no one here. It's a ghost." They both rushed upstairs as they heard Emma shouting at Sam in her room. They found the girl sitting on the edge of her bed. She was pleading with Sam to allow her to sleep. She had exams coming up. She was tired. She needed her sleep. They calmed her down and she finally slept. The following morning at breakfast, she looked tired. She looked drawn and pale. She didn't look well, but she said she was fine. The next few days were fairly quiet. Emma didn't shout at Sam. There was nothing untoward going on. The noises had all stopped. And the day came when Emma took her exams. When she got home that evening from school, her parents asked her how she'd got on. "It was a breeze," she said. Sam knew just about every answer. "What do you mean?" Kathy snapped. "Sam knew the answers. What are you talking about?" "Sam was there. Sam's always there. He was helping me with the exam." "That's cheating. You're supposed to be taking the exam, not some imaginary friend." Emma stormed out of the kitchen and slammed the door. "I suppose if she passes the exam," Jack began. "No, it's not right," Kathy interrupted him. "It's not right that she's using some imaginary or whatever he is friend to answer questions." "But does it matter?" Jack persisted. "If she gets good results in the exam, she could go on then to train as a nurse." "No, it's not right," Kathy said. "It's not right at all. I don't like it." Emma's exam results finally arrived in the post. She'd passed everything with flying colours, or rather, Sam, whoever he was, had passed everything. Jack and Kathy decided there was nothing they could do. The bumping and noises downstairs had disappeared. Emma hadn't been talking to Sam in her room, and they just hoped that it was over. That was the end of it. Emma's mood over the next couple of weeks changed completely. She'd got herself a boyfriend, she announced to her parents one evening. "His name's John. He's really nice." "You'll have to bring him round to meet us," Kathy said with a smile, sure that this would change everything and they could forget the past. "Good idea," Jack said. "Bring him round one evening. He can come to dinner." "I will," Emma said, her face beaming. "I'll bring him round." John was a nice chap. Kathy and Jack got on well with him. He was good company. He looked after Emma from what they could see. He was polite, he was pleasant, and he was good looking. When he'd gone home that evening, Emma sat down with her parents and said, "What do you think?" They were pleased. He was a nice chap. And at last everything seemed to have calmed down. But later that evening, just as Jack and Kathy were drifting off to sleep, they heard Emma shouting at Sam. "Not again," Kathy said. "Not again, please." "It's all right," Jack said. "Let me go and see her." He went to Emma's room. She was sitting up in bed crying. "What's the matter?" Jack asked. "What is it?" "It's Sam. He doesn't like my boyfriend. He doesn't like John. He says I should leave him." "What? What are you talking about?" Jack said. "Forget this Sam, whoever it is. You're with John. He's a lovely chap. We like him. Ignore whatever voices you're hearing in your head or whatever it is. Ignore it." "I can't," Emma sobbed. "He won't let me go. Sam won't let me go." He's always there. But the last few weeks you've been fine. You're happy with John? Just forget it." "I can't," Emma persisted. "He won't let me sleep. He's there. He's talking to me all the time." The next couple of weeks were dreadful. Noises downstairs, things moving in the kitchen, glass ornaments knocked off the mantelpiece in the lounge, smashed on the floor. Jack and Kathy didn't know what to do. They both agreed that this Sam, whatever he was, entity, ghost, he was in the house. He was causing all this trouble. They looked at each other in disbelief one evening when they were sitting in the lounge and the curtains were ripped from the rail and thrown across the room. They'd never believed in ghosts, entities, strange things like that. It was all rubbish. But as they looked at each other, they realised that this was something or someone from another world. The following morning at breakfast, Emma came down to the kitchen and joined her parents. "It's Halloween tomorrow," she said. "What?" Jack said. "What are you talking about? It's Halloween tomorrow." "I'm not interested in Halloween. Your mother told you what happened last night. Aren't you worried?" "Oh, the curtains probably fell down," she said. "I'm not worried about that. They probably fell down. Fell down and were thrown across the room," her dad said. "Things have been smashed, Emma. The ornaments on the mantelpiece smashed on the floor. There's something in this house, and it's something to do with this Sam, the creature or whatever it is that you've brought here." Emma cried as she sat down at the table. "It's all my fault," she said. "I know it's all my fault. Sam's been in my room. He's been watching me as I dress and undress. I hate it," she said. "I hate it. I don't want him here. He keeps on and on about John. I didn't realise he could see me. I just thought he was there in my head. He's been watching my every move." She looked up at her parents from her chair. "Sam says I belong to him, and I'm to have no other. I must leave John because I belong to him." "That's it," Jack stormed. "I've had enough of this. That is it." "What are you going to do?" Kathy said. "I don't know. What do I do? Go to a vicar? Get the vicar round here to throw out the ghost or whatever it is? I've no idea. Do I go to a psychiatrist? I just don't know what to do." As he stormed out of the room, Kathy looked at Emma and sighed. "Have you any idea how to get rid of Sam?" she asked. "Any idea at all?" "No," Emma sobbed. "I just don't know how to get rid of him. He's always in my bedroom. He's watching me all the time. He's always with me. He's always talking to me. Whenever I'm with John, I know Sam is there. He whispers to me. He whispers dreadful things about John. I just want to be rid of him." Kathy didn't know what to say as Emma said she was tired and was going up to her room to sleep. There must be something that she could do. She didn't know where Jack had gone. He'd stormed off somewhere. He was probably shouting at the vicar in the local church. As Kathy sat at the kitchen table, holding her head in her hands, she wondered whether to phone her sister, Helen. They hadn't seen each other or spoken to each other for almost 20 years, and Kathy didn't really want to phone her, but Helen had always had a great interest in the supernatural. Kathy wasn't even sure whether Helen lived at the same place. Was the phone number the correct one? But she dialed it anyway. "It's me," she said as Helen answered. "Kathy." "Kathy?" Helen echoed. "Kathy, how are you?" "I'm fine. Well, I'm not fine. How are you?" "I don't know. Are you all right?" Helen asked. "You sound flustered. What's the matter?" "I wish we kept in touch," Kathy said. "It's been nearly 20 years. I don't know." "I know," Helen said. "I know. I've often thought of phoning you. For us to fall out over a stupid argument like that, it's just crazy." "We've got a lot to catch up on," Kathy said, feeling a little easier now. "How are you? How are things?" "I'm fine," Helen said. "Yes, I'm fine. We finally got over the... Oh, you didn't know, did you, that we'd lost a baby?" "Oh, no," Kathy said. "You lost a baby? Oh, no. When was that?" "Oh, it was years ago now. It took us a long time to get over it. Well, we never really got over it, of course. It was awful. I'll tell you, when we see each other, I'll tell you. We'll have to meet." "Yes, of course," Kathy said. "Of course. Yeah. Oh, that's dreadful. I wish I'd known. I wish I'd phoned you." "You should have phoned me, Helen. You should have phoned me." "I know," Helen sighed. "I know. We should have phoned each other. We're both as silly as each other." "Was it a miscarriage?" Kathy asked. "It was a boy," Helen said, "stillborn. As you can imagine, it was a very difficult time for both of us." "I'm so sorry to hear that," Kathy sighed. "How is Malcolm? Is he all right?" "Malcolm's fine," Helen said. "Yes, he's fine." We've finally come to terms with it, as best we can anyway. The thing is that we both feel Sam is still here with us. We can feel his presence. We know he's here. It would have been his 18th birthday tomorrow. Halloween. Kathy froze. Sam, she thought. Sam? Is this a coincidence? Kathy, are you there? Helen said. Hello, Kathy? Yes, sorry. Sorry, I'm here. Can you come round? I need to talk to you. I'm afraid I can't today, Helen sighed. How about tomorrow evening? It's Halloween. You're not doing anything special, are you? I know it's Sam's birthday. We usually have a couple of drinks and toast him on his birthday, especially as it's his 18th. Kathy wasn't listening as Helen rambled on. His birthday, 18th birthday, Halloween. Is that all right? Helen said. Sorry, what? Is that all right tomorrow evening if we come round, 7 o'clock? Yeah, that's fine, Kathy said. Look forward to seeing you both. Kathy, Jack and Emma were sitting in the lounge the following evening when the doorbell rang. Kathy answered the door. It was Helen and Malcolm. She invited them in and offered them a drink. What's wrong? Helen said. What's wrong? Something's wrong, I can feel it. It's about Sam, Emma blurted. No, hang on, Emma, her mother interrupted her. Hang on, let's start from the beginning. Both Helen and Malcolm frowned. What about Sam? Malcolm said. It's his 18th birthday today, Halloween. What do you mean, Sam? Tell me, what's going on? Helen stood up, her face pale, her eyes wide. He's here, she said. My boy is here. I can feel him. Sam? You're here, Sam. I know you're here. The room darkened as if someone had turned a dimmer switch down. No one spoke. They just stared at each other, open-mouthed. I can feel you, Sam, Helen said. What are you doing here? The chair by the fireplace rocked and fell over. Sam, stop it, Helen snapped. Stop it. You're being a bad boy. What are you doing? You must come home with us. You shouldn't be here. You must come home with us. The light returned to full brightness, and everyone felt calm. I better explain things, Kathy said. Sam has been here for years. She explained everything to her sister and her brother-in-law. After that evening, everything was calm. Emma was happy with her boyfriend. Sam had gone. The nightmare was over. That's the story of Emma. No doubt you find it as strange as I do. Truth stranger than fiction, as they say. Emma did go on to become a nurse. In fact, she did very well. And she didn't have any help with her nursing exams. Thanks for listening. Happy Halloween.